Gentlemen, welcome back to What the Duck. This is episode number 30. It is August 18th, 2017. We just got back from TI7. We've got the old crowd back with us again. Sunsfan Purge, Trent Pax, and Sir Action Slacks. Boys, a lot to talk about in this one. TI7 fresh in our memories. Who's still feeling the hype?
Woo!
Nobody.
I'm excited. I watch so much fucking Dota compared to normally. I'm addicted to Dota again. Fuck PUBG, I haven't played it in months. All I wanted was that Dotes. I'm back, baby. Super hype.
That's good. I'm glad to hear that, Slacks.
How many games did you watch?
2. And A's was good.
Wow.
I watched the semifinals with Liquid and whoever the fuck before Liquid Newbie.
Mm-hmm.
That was amazing. I watched that whole series.
Whoever the fuck put up a real good fight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I think that's
Props
their new
to
name,
whoever
actually.
the fuck.
LGD, whoever the fuck.
Props to them.
Good.
May you API key in the history, my friends.
How are you,
Anyway.
That
Sunsfan?
lighting is just terrible. How is it possible to have such bad lighting?
Yeah, especially you're in like
It's
Arizona.
that window.
Yep. Kevin's right. It's the window, man.
Sorry, guys.
Sunsfan, can you put your face a little closer to the camera? Are you just wildly sunburned or what? What is that?
Definitely not. I have
Oh.
a vitamin D deficiency. So there's pretty much no way to have a sunburn right now. In fact, I think it might be the day that I have to take my vitamin D pill. So
Hey.
Just the day?
Today's business.
How many do you take?
I think
it's
you
one
take
a
it
week.
once a week, right?
It's a 50,000 unit capsule. It's pretty hardcore.
Good God,
actually.
it's like a solar flare
Lord.
in a bottle.
Yeah, I actually don't understand how it could stay in me for a week without like disintegrating. But
Is that like
impressive.
rectally injected or what? That's huge.
Taken anally by mouth, I believe.
Anally by mouth. Well, technically everything is anally by mouth, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Well
Well,
said.
everything goes through the anus that goes through the mouth.
Sure.
Touche. Yeah.
How come the first sentence that Sunsfan talks about, somehow we get to poop instantly, like every time?
Every
Hey,
single
all
time.
I'm gonna say is it's not my fault, as usual.
I mean, it happened on the Twitch IRL stream, too. We were in line. We bumped into Sunsfan. Within about 2 minutes, we were talking about bowel movements. It was the perfect opener to TI7. So, guys, let's start on the big kahuna. I don't remember when we did the last one, but Trent, how about you, man? How was your TI? This was your second TI experience. I know we talked about it on our podcast, but share it with the other Moonduck fans.
Our podcast, the Zyori podcast.
Oh, yes!
Which
You
you
mean
can
the
find
Zyori
over on-
Ah, the
Is it
Zyori
our
podcast.
Great
podcast?
plug. Great
Well,
plug.
Yes, you know.
Get wrecked.
How
Fuck.
was it? It was it was good. Second TI. Again, spectating, glorious TI, running around. Obviously more recognized this year, which was kind of funny. So it was like you'd be like walking through the
'Cause of those
places and people would
shoes.
just like yell at you. That's
Those
true.
glorious
shoes were
shoes.
good. Yeah. Shoes were dank.
Is that your Canada
That's,
shoes?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, the tournament was hype. I felt this year was more like I felt there were more enjoyable games overall, even though there were a lot of 2-0s. It didn't feel like it was a bunch of 2-0s. Like a lot of the games felt close.
Yeah, I would agree. I thought the games were really good. It's a little bit, yeah, like you said, 2-0s were a little bit unfortunate, but everything was so close. I really noticed that on my end as well. Because last year, anytime I would hit like 15 minutes in game, I'd get terrified because I thought the game could end within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
But this year, I could like sit back until 20 minutes, and there was maybe only like 1 or 2 series that ended early, and it was maybe like I think lower bracket finals or something like that, and then the match after. But almost always it was like 40-minute GGs,
I think I
or at least you'd
watched
see it coming.
more Dota at this TI than any other TI I've been to. Like, usually we're a little more visible, kind of out and about. Like, I used to watch in the walking area so I could talk to people, but this year we spent a lot of time up in the nosebleeds, Trent. We were just
Oh, it was good.
watching good games,
That
man.
glorious AC, baby. Oh
Oh, yeah.
my God, it was so cold up there. It was amazing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about AC during the All-Star match.
No,
Nice.
there were AC was at the All-Star match. I didn't even
Yes.
hear him. No.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
Well, we'll
I
get
think-
into that soon.
He was like a featured guest. He only did like 1 verse, I believe.
And we didn't even hear it in the stadium. I don't know if you guys know. If you were at home, we actually didn't get the greetings
Wait, what
and
did people
salutations
at home hear? What did
in
they
the
hear?
stadium audio. They heard it on stream.
They heard
Okay,
the
they heard
exact
the
same
beginning.
thing, but they caught
heard
the beginning.
Intro.
Yeah.
We'll get
Not
into it.
get the intro.
We'll
Gotcha.
get into
All
it.
right.
All right.
Well,
Later.
just speaking about TI in comparison to other TIs, I remember TI2. Morphling picked every game I literally, and it's not an exaggeration. I literally slept through half the games at TI2. That was a pretty shitty tournament.
Apparently, I'm quite quiet.
Game quality, that is. What's this shit?
What's your issue?
I can't do it. I'm not doing that shit anymore, bro.
What is wrong with you guys? I don't
I'm
understand.
not doing that shit anymore.
Nothing. Anyway, I have to say I was pretty disappointed. Me and my friend watched TI together, and I don't know, it was so weird. Some people were like making fun of him and stuff, and I thought it was like the nicest Dota 2 community. But me and my buddy Andy Milanokis are huge, and some asshole was walking around shit talking him the whole event or something, and he just turned Andy completely off.
Yeah, I heard he was planning on coming to TI, but then once he saw the stream, he was like, you know what, guys, I'm out. Cancel the flight.
Can you please tell this wee story for us to
All
get
right.
us in the mood?
All right.
Please.
All right. Not my most proud moment. We'll start with that preface. So for those of you that are unaware, we did Twitch IRL for day 1 of TI, the pre-show, which ended up mostly just us standing in line. There was a little bit of a kerfluffle about where to find our press passes, so we got this kind of weird backstage tour, and then we ended up having to stand in the will call line for about an hour or so. We actually missed the opening. We ended up watching it on the lawn on the big screen. So anyway, as we're sitting in line, someone made a joke about Andy Milanokis, and then someone else asked, like, what's the deal with that guy? Why do people care about his stream? So I just explained in 45 seconds what Andy Milanokis does, and I said part of his shtick is that people can't really tell if he's an adult or a midget or an overweight kid, and I might have used the word retarded once or twice, and he didn't appreciate that none too much. And
wow, that's a shocker.
Yep. And it was posted on one of the subreddits. He saw it and wrote a whole essay about how mean I am, and then tweeted that I am the Dota caster known for sniffing his balls with a great dread shot. Now, what's really funny, though, is if you go into that
hold
Reddit
on,
thread...
I'm posting this tweet. Go ahead. Please go ahead and link that on the What the Duck, please.
So what's really sad about this whole thing is that I'm actually an Andy Milanokis fan, right? He was like, I watched his stream, I thought it was fucking funny, and that was why we were motivated to do the whole IRL thing to begin with. So I kind of felt bad, but it's a little bit like when someone asks you, what do you think about Jersey Shore? And you say something negative about Snooki and the situation. You don't expect Snooki to tweet at you and be all upset about it. That was kind of what it felt like. And so yeah, I DM'd him an apology on Reddit. He did not reply. So I guess apology rejected on that.
Aww.
But what's really sad are that the comments on that thread are like half telling me I should kill myself and half being like, dude, I don't know what you're mad about. He didn't even say anything that wasn't true. And then Andy Milanokis replying to those people trying to justify why he's a good person and that none of this is true. And some of the back and forths are just creme de la creme, dude.
This is basically like what an average Redditor experiences when they write something negative about a caster, and then a caster feels justified in defending themselves in a Reddit thread. That's like same thing. You just don't expect people to read it or see it.
Yeah.
So you're like, yeah, I'm just going to be completely honest. But the downside is that you probably actually had viewership. And are there even that many people that do live streaming?
Yeah, well, I think we were
Twitch
listed
IRL, Twitch
under
IRL.
Dota 2 and not like Twitch IRL, but yeah, we still had quite a few viewers, and that was why I kind of felt bad about it. I was like, okay, it was one of those deals where I kind of just got riled up and was all excited about TI and just started riffing and like listening to it back. I'm like, well, that's not really accurately how I feel about Andy Milanokis. Man, I fucked up. So I definitely felt bad about it.
Are you still a fan of Andy Milanokis?
Well, I was hoping he would accept my apology, and this would be the birth of a fruitful new partnership. But instead of that happening, I don't know.
Weird way to start it off.
I first met my business partner when I heard he had called me a midget retard. And I thought, this is a guy I want business with.
So the real kicker is that I didn't see it right away, right? I noticed it at like 6 p.m. So we're watching the last series of the day. I see all these tweets on my feed that are like, you should kill yourself. I'm like, this is abnormal. I don't usually have this much hate on my Twitter feed.
It's one per
a
day,
little bit more
Matt.
than normal.
So I scroll down, and then I see the
Thursday
tweet, and you just
already.
have that moment of like, holy shit. It was like the moment Ice Frog invited me to TI. I'm like, dude, that's the real Ice Frog. Holy shit. That's the real Andy Milanokis. I asked Trent what to do, and he just laughed maniacally and said, dude, I don't know. You're on your own for this one. Thanks for the support, pal. It was like the Maud story on the airplane where you got the nosebleed, and he's just like, well, you're on your own.
Goodbye.
So So yeah, that was
Oh,
my
God.
day one of TI. That set the bar pretty high.
It was all downhill from there.
Damn. Pretty good.
So what'd you do, Suns fan?
I just watched the games. It was
Well, that's
much
not
more
true. I remember watching a guy on HBO's Vice talking
Oh,
about
yeah.
the joys of Dota and esports. What a
You were
great
on the Nazi special?
You were. It was like Nazis killing people in the South, but now Suns fan talks about TI.
Yeah, I mean, in general, it was a much less stressful experience than last year. That's for sure. I actually got to watch games in the not like last year was just the locker room. I was just stuck in this. Like it's not. It's an early '90s arena, right? It's equivalent to what the Suns arena is now, without having the what's it called when you redo shit again? I'm drawing a blank here.
Do-overs?
No, like whatever.
Deja vu.
Refurbish?
Yeah, refurbished. Thank you.
Refurbished.
Yeah, refurbished arena. So it's just an old ass arena, and just stuck in this like moldy room for the entire tournament. This time, got to actually enjoy it, and yeah, the HBO thing was pretty cool. I sat down with the guy for how long do you guys think I sat down with him for? Based on the entire special was 5 minutes.
It's
I was on for
either-
like half of it, maybe.
It was either you sat down for like 4 hours, or they aired literally everything you said.
Yeah,
What do you think?
2 hours. It was over 2
2
hours.
hours. My
Yeah,
God.
I sat down 2 games with him, and then I realized, holy shit, I don't think I'm conveying exactly what's going on the screen. It's actually so much more difficult to explain Dota to somebody that's never seen it when you can't control the camera or anything. You're like, oh, you see that hero? Oh, wait, they just switched heroes. Like, you can't follow along. It's pretty difficult. But yeah,
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
Were you
Pretty cool
happy with the
experience.
way the piece turned out overall, though, Suns fan? Do you think they made you look cool?
I was
Thank
pretty
God.
careful. I was pretty careful to be not my normal self, I guess you could say.
So you
There
did not
were a
bring up
couple
poop.
No,
You
I
did say
not.
fuck, however.
Yeah, I did say fuck.
Well, that's
I thought
Vice.
they'd put that in too, actually.
Yeah, Vice
They
likes
did.
that shit. It's authentic, you
Yeah.
know?
But I don't know. It was pretty cool overall, I'd say.
Sweet.
I was happy with. I think the piece itself came out decent. They cut out obviously a ton of stuff since talking about over 2 hour conversation, but I did go on some tangents to the point where when I would go off on a tangent, they would actually just put down the cameras. Like, all right, we're not gonna put this.
Damn.
Like I started talking shit about soccer at some point. I don't know why. Like, and the guy was apparently a big fan of soccer. That was kind of a foot in the mouth situation. But yeah, overall, I thought it came out all right.
Oh boy. Well, that's good. Good for you, Mr. Sunsy. You seem like you're having a rad time with your buddies up there.
Yeah,
Good time.
we snuck in the VIP section, guys.
Ooh.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I didn't get a VIP pass, so Nikki just got a bunch for us. And
Whoops. I will
the
say,
trick is to go up and then come back down with a couple passes and go back up again.
Oh, wow.
No, you
one's
can't
ever
do
done
that.
That's
No one.
crazy.
no way.
Whoa.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
how
if
is
you
that
did
like
That's like a TI2
concert?
strat.
A
Yeah,
TI2
did you see
strat.
did you see the finals? The entire arena was filled. That was crazy.
Yeah.
It's never been like that. It's never ever been like that.
Yeah, it was
Like,
packed
to
to
the
the brim.
brim.
Like, it was at the point where I was looking for people, and I don't know what their exact names are, but the guys that are standing there to help you find your seats, they were getting really serious about people standing because most of the seats were full, so there were people just standing in the little entryways, and of course that's a big fire hazard, so they started kind of not kicking people out, but it turned into a cluster towards the end, I won't lie. Trying to find a seat right before the finals? What an idiot. Why did I do that?
Those people were quite serious the whole event. I got kicked out of the event twice. As they were like, what are you doing back here? Talent's not allowed. Show me your badge. And I'm like, I'm one of the hosts of the event. And they're like, well, talent is not allowed here. What is your name? And I'm like, I'm on the screen. They're like, get the fuck out. That's ridiculous. I had to like get my camera guy to come and let me back in the building twice. It was horrible. They were not fucking around this year. Yeah, like this guy must have stolen a pass. He's far too fat and annoying to be hired.
What was it like being less busy this year? I mean, like you were obviously busy,
Oh.
but in terms of like actual content pieces and stuff, like it felt like I saw you less. Is that fair to say?
It's a whole story to tell. One that is a little sensitive, so I don't know. Basically, usually at an event, Like PGL will be like, yo, we don't want any commercials. Slacks, you make as much content as you possibly can. Like, I think they wanted something like 12 content pieces a day, which is something that I love doing because I always have weird events and then or ideas, and then maybe they'll use like 3 or 4. But this one, it was completely different. They originally had 2 content teams. That was going to be me, and then on one team, and then they were going to have Bulldog, Sheever, Hotbid, and Tyrion on content team 2. Anyway, so a bunch of Chinese guys didn't make it to their panel, and Jack ended up having to host, so Casey needed help, so Hotbit had to help her with her questions. And then Bulldog, unfortunately, didn't show up. Rest in peace, buddy. So Content Team 2 merged into Content Team 1, and then I thought that we would make more, but they said that they wanted quality, not quantity. And they only let me make 1 a day, which was super interesting. Because you have to, instead of just machine gunning out ideas and seeing what works, making 12 and then having 2 air, they just wanted 1 to air. So it was pretty interesting for me. I freaked the fuck out for the first week. I was like shaking. This is the biggest event of my career, the biggest opportunity I'll ever have, and I'm like fucking like, well, done for today at noon. Okay, I'm just gonna sit here now. So it was.
What was your best piece in your opinion?
Woo! There were a lot of good pieces. So, I love Valve, but they said that they only wanted stuff that was 1.5 minutes, and I came in early, like very early, for the 2 media days, and I filmed all of these games with the players from around 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. every day, and I did it for 2 days straight. None of it aired, but it was great. The games we played were really good. Played a lot of good stuff. My favorite thing that we did was I played Would You Rather. What's that game where you take a shot when someone didn't do it? You guys remember?
Oh, yeah. Man,
Truth or Dare?
No. It's like, we
It's
played Never Have I Ever
Yeah.
with a bunch of Chinese teams.
That's it.
And holy shit, were they hilarious. One guy, I forget who it was. Well, first, one team, they all just eliminated burning instantly. And if you had one wrong, you had to put a card in. And then one of the guys goes, "Never have I ever lost my virginity," with his last card. And all the other Chinese players are looking at him. And they're like, what? And then he just puts his in and he goes, oh. But, God, it was good. We had a lot of good content. But I have to say, although it was a new experience and it was a terrifying one, I like the stuff that we made. I feel like it was good to have somebody put a leash on me, put a muzzle on me, and make sure that my shit went out like kind of more PG, because I know I could be a little out there and cringy, and I don't think that we ever had too cringy of a content coming out there. So Hotbid was pretty good at fucking reeling me in. So
I really liked the zoo piece. That was my favorite.
The one with Sheever?
Yeah, the zoo.
I mean, I gotta admit, I didn't think that the stuff we made was particularly hilarious, any of it. It wasn't really my cup of tea. And the fact that people love the zoo piece so much boggles my fucking mind, all right? I have no idea. I think I might just be mentally challenged. I mean, I don't know.
You and Andy would get along.
Yeah, but oh, damn.
Jesus Christ.
I will say,
New
though,
tweet incoming.
I am very proud of the Day 9 interrogation, although they fucked up the first joke, and I do not know if that was on purpose or not.
Was it muted, the first part?
It was muted.
Oh.
Yeah.
They said that they had audio problems, but the first joke was the best joke. He just sits down, and then I say, "So you're here to ruin my game like you did yours?" And then he's like, "Jesus!" And it didn't fucking play on the screen. I was pissed, but I don't know.
Did they post that stuff on YouTube at all, or?
I think so.
Yeah, they did. So it's on the YouTube. Reinventing the Wheel was great as well. Pitching that one was hilarious. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say I liked the interrogation the best. I think that was the one that made me like genuinely laugh the most. And I don't know if it was because I couldn't tell how much of Day 9's reactions were like scripted and how much were just his genuine like I don't
Zero.
All of it was like you didn't even tell him you were recording a piece.
No, we fucking Jesus. We put him in the room, and Hotbit is under the table. By the way, this is a story you might not know.
I think he tweeted about that, didn't he?
Oh yeah. So he's under the table, and then one of the questions is like, "You ever been ganked?" And then Hotbit's supposed to grab his legs and freak him out, and he's like, "Whoa!" And then he goes, "Nah, you've been ganked." So Hotbit's under this table for like 5-7 minutes, and then he grabs Day 9's calves, and Day 9's calves are so like thick and manly, he doesn't react at all. Hotbit's like squeezing him, and he's like, "Oh," and they didn't care.
It's like, oh yeah, it's very
he
nice.
just walked off. He's like, "Oh, there's a man under the table," and then Hotbit like scurries out. But
There's
yeah,
an Asian man on the table.
there's a lot of content that they didn't make. I will say though, as much as I love making quality content, I feel like we could have gone a little bit riskier. We could have gone a little bit more fun. I feel like one thing that TI this time did do is play it safe. And, I mean, of course, you should play it safe. It's the biggest tournament. It has most eyes on it. But at the same time, TI6's stuff was weird and fun with the puppets and all that, the weird content. So, I don't know. That'd be kind of my review of the event in general when it comes to content and everything. I mean, they played it safe and they tried to make it work. And, you lose a little bit of the memorability with that, but at the same time, it was a great event.
I will
say
panels could have been better.
Damn, I will say one thing though, AR, we had a fuckload of plans for AR, and there were
it broke for like 2 days, right?
It was out. I mean, all the AR was having some massive problems, and we had a lot of ideas for the AR. They had a lot of innovations that I won't say because I'm sure they'll be at TI next. But yeah, Valve had me out there for a long time working on the intro movie, like 3 weeks or something, and that's a whole story for another time later in the conversation. But anyway, there was a shitload of stuff I was gonna do with VR, and we never got to, or AR, and we never got to do it. So next time.
That intro movie was pretty baller though. I enjoyed it a lot.
Oh, thanks.
good.
The
I still
acting
haven't
was
watched
like
it
of a
yet,
different
Slacks.
quality compared to most stuff. Like the acting was actually good. I mean, sure, it was 'cause there was a lot of takes and everything, but it really was quality.
It-
Like,
yeah,
you
it
and
felt
Casey
real.
fighting and everything was so
It
funny.
felt very,
thanks.
very real, dude. I was shocked. We missed the very beginning though because we were waiting in line. So when I got to the screen, Gaben was just starting to withdraw. So I missed everything before
Damn.
that.
Nah, you didn't miss much.
Okay, all right,
Do
good.
you guys want me to
You
talk
missed
about
much.
that? I have a lot of stories about that, but I don't want to take up the whole what the duck with me monologuing.
I
so-
mean,
They're all here for you anyway.
No, shut up.
Unless Purge wants to tell a story, that's pretty
Yeah.
much it.
No,
You know,
I don't have
that's-
any good ones. I sat on the computer the whole event.
All right, well, it was a pretty amazing experience. They asked me if I wanted to do an event. It like halfway through. The funniest part was that they had me help with the script, which was incredible. Like they call me up and I thought it's just a Skype call, and I answer the Skype call. I'm in like a fucking t-shirt and sweatpants, and then the call opens from Valve, and they're in a conference room, and there's the entire Valve film team. They're like, "Hello, Sir Action Slacks," and I'm like, "What the fuck is this? Oh no!" They like sent me over the script, and I rewrote the script with them, and it was a lot of fun because I'm like, I'm writing for Valve. The lore is coming, guys. But anyway, so yeah, we made the script like more Dota-ish, and then they had me go out there, and it took 2 or 3 weeks to film that. It is incredible. Ah!
damn it, Mr. Roo.
My pug. It's pretty incredible how much work it takes to make something look good. We were out there and we had like, it was like a full TV show. Purge, you've been through this before, right? I mean, they had like the lighting crew, they had the directors, they had the costumers, they had all these people. They just never, it was insane. And it actually ruined my life. It really did. I was at Valve and they're like, hey, you know, if you're not doing anything, you could just do stuff from here and we'll just keep you here for a couple weeks. And they're like, here, you could have an office next to Tim Larkin, the guy who makes all the music. So I would just wake up and go to fucking Valve and just walk in the building and be like, hello, and then I'd go to my little office and make my little loregasm, and then I'd go talk to people at lunch and be like, oh, hello, everyone, and I fucking worked there. And then I had to go home. It was the worst experience of my life. I'm like at lunch talking, and people are like, I'm talking to this one guy about Stilt Breaker Act 2 for like 2 hours, and he's like, what did you think about this? What did you think about this? What do you think we should do in Stilt Breaker 2? And I was like, Stilt Breaker's amazing. I love it. I don't know which one of you dumbasses made the bristleback, blah, blah, blah. And I was talking all this shit, but we were laughing, and then a guy comes up to me, and he's like, hey, you've been talking to Yule for 2 hours. I was like, who? Who's Yule? It was terrible. Imagine having the dream job. Imagine literally going to work at Valve, sitting in your little office, recording Loregasm, and then seeing the guy who writes the lore and be like, hi, hope I'm getting this right. And then they're just like, okay, go home. Bye.
Yep,
It was
that's what it's like every year that you work with Valve people. In my experience, like you're like, I wish I worked here. I remember feeling that at TI2. I felt it at TI4 because we're actually working out of their offices. Shannon, I'm sure you felt the same. It's like we get to eat their snacks, eat their
Oh
meals.
yeah, their bagels
Like
are
their
so
bathrooms
good.
have all these like nice things in them, and they play like cool music. That like to this day, my favorite radio station is the Valve bathroom ones. That shit is
Oh.
exactly what I want to hear.
Can I tell a
Like-
story about the Valve bathrooms, by the way? They have a soap dispenser, and it's filled with Listerine. Okay? They have a little cup
Yeah, I remember
on
that.
the side, and it's a giant soap dispenser with liquid. So I'm in the bathroom, and I'm in there, and I'm like, and I just get fucking Listerine all over me, and I walk out, and people are like, "What are you doing in there?" And there's just Listerine everywhere, and I'm like, "What's wrong with you guys? Why do you have mouthwash?" And then the guy who was in charge of the production for TI is like, "Wow, you're a mess," and then he walked out. Oh God. Anyway.
Honestly, TI2
Wow.
and TI4 and
Yeah.
TI3, those are the times I think that we had the tours and we hung out with Valve a little bit.
Mhm.
And there's always like this little bit of depression that you get knowing that you can never be that talented in your entire life. Like,
really-
oh, I am actually a piece of shit. It is confirmed
Yeah.
now. Thank you, Valve.
It
Another
really is.
Another time I did that was at TI5 when I was recording newbie streamlines. I went into Valve and we went into this like soundproof room. That was the first time I went in a real sound studio, dead silent, and I just sat there working with them on voice lines for, I don't know, it was probably like 45 minutes or something. But just worked with 2 Valve employees. You get to chat with everybody. You get to use their nice equipment. It's just feels so cool. It really does, and it feels like you're like you said, Jake. It's like you're writing for Valve. There's just some like fancy feeling about it. It was the same when I
Yeah.
did this. I wrote a bunch of the strings for the newbie stream this year, and it feels the same. It's like I'm doing work that people are gonna see and be like, hey, this is Valve work, or hey, this is something that so many people are gonna see in the game based on work that I do. It just makes you feel good.
Yeah. I don't know. I did kind of feel like an idiot. I was literally writing a loregasm while talking to the guy who wrote the lore, and he was laughing. So, I mean, I didn't feel great about that. But
Just being
anyway.
polite.
Did you ask him any questions? Be like,
No, I didn't ask him anything. When he found out, when he told me, I was like, "Don't talk to me." And I left. I don't want to know the real shit. But yeah, I mean, it's just weird. Everybody at Valve is so super qualified. We're talking like hyper qualified. Like some guy was talking to me and he's like, "Hey, I really like what you're doing in the movie. You really got it, man. You should, like comedic timing and stuff." And I was like, "Oh, have you ever worked on stuff like this?" And he's like, "Yeah, I did all the animation for Avatar." And I was like, "Oh, the cartoon?" And he's like, No, James Cameron's Avatar. I did all that." I'm like, "Who are you?" What? And he's like, "Oh, did you want a water?" I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?"
He's
That's
like
how
the
all
camera
of them
guy or
are.
something.
Yeah, it's just like a fucking random guy. Let me give you an example here. The Omni-Knight hammer, right? They get this hammer and they're like, "This isn't good enough quality." A guy's walking by and they say, "Hey, Jeff, come over here for a second." Jeff comes over and they're like, "Yo, we want to get a new Omni-Knight hammer. What do you think? How long could you take to get us one?" And he's like, "What do you want? You want plastic? You want steel?" And they're like, "I mean, what? We're looking for a 7 out of 10 on this." And he's like, "All right, I'll whip something up in about probably 14 hours. I can handle it." And I was like, "What? This guy's gonna make a hammer?" And he's like, "Oh, that's Jeff. He goes to the scrapyard and he builds motorcycles." And I was like, "What do you mean by that?" And they're like, "Yeah, he literally just takes the metal and forges it, and then he makes an engine, and then yeah, that's what he does for fun when he's not working on games." I'm like, "That's possible? Any of this is, what the fuck are you talking about? That's insane!" And that's how every single person is. Fuck, I talked to a guy about some math, and he's like, I was like, "What is this?" And he's like, "Oh, this is just some code. I have a few books on theoretical physics. I was a professor for 20 years. What? Yeah. The whole
What did you
atmosphere
do
is
in your past
insane.
lives? Like?
I worked
at
at
Outback
Steakhouse. I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. Every single one of them is on such a higher level than you'll ever be. It's just depressing. It's fucking depressing. And I have not been the same since. I've seen a place where I'll never achieve, and it's ruined me. Anyway,
Wow.
I'll tell you one more story
Okay.
about the intro, if I can.
Please.
So I've told this one on this show or whatever, but so we're getting the costumes done. And we got the Valve film team there, and we head over to this apartment where the costumer is. And by the way, they were originally going to have me on the Omni Night, and they all decided it would be funnier if they included Omni Night, and I didn't get it, by the way. That was a conscious decision by them. Just because they thought it would help with my acting if I was actually upset. So, great. Anyway, we go in the costumer's place, and she's got the costume, and then the Valve guys are like, all right, Jake, take off your clothes. And I was like, do you want me to go in the bathroom? And they're like, nah, this will be faster. So imagine you're a Valve fan. You walk into a room and there's 6 guys there. And they're like, go down your boxers. And then you do it. And then they're programmers, you know? So they're just like, oh, yes, wonderful. Oh, good. Yes, this will work fine. And I'm just like, are you enjoying? And then we put on the outfit and they're like, oh, that's tight. That's good. Yeah, that will work. And I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? It was amazing. They were like taking notes about my naked body. No, not naked, but you know, I have my boxers on. It's fine. Anyway, when we got the costume, it had a male cut. And I was very insistent that we make it more disturbing. I was like, give me some cleavage. Please, give me the cleavage. And they're like, are you sure you're comfortable with that? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm comfortable. And Crystal Maiden, her legs, she wears stocking. She has all this like area around her legs that like show her inner thighs. And I was like, cut up the inner thighs, guys. I want my fucking gut hanging out. This needs to be disgusting. And then they're like, no, that's too far. We'll give you the cleavage, but that's all we can do. So, yeah, that was good. Tanqueray the donkey. Fun facts about him. He was the donkey that came out. He shit everywhere all the time. The poor little guy was terrified. He shit 3 times out of pure terror. We actually were instructed not to go behind Tanqueray the donkey in case he terror shits. He
I
did
saw
a
a
great
picture
job.
of one of the terror shits. It was like
Yeah.
on the opposite side of like those curtains that you guys walked out of.
Yep.
Like there's just a picture, shit everywhere on the ground, super
Just
liquid.
shit everywhere. I mean, he was terrible. Imagine being a donkey. You live in your life, and then you come here, there's fucking lasers and 10,000 people screaming and
They
smoking
didn't get
shit.
a donkey that was more familiar with that kind of. They just picked a random donkey.
We had an original donkey. Original donkey did not work out. So we had Tanqueray come in late as a late donkey. But he was a sweet, innocent donkey.
You know,
he was a nice donkey.
So, fun little tidbit. When we were trying to find our press passes, we went all around the back of the venue, and I actually saw the little donkey. But in my infinite wisdom, I turned the camera away and did not mention it, as I figured, donkey, perhaps this is part of the show. But I saw that little guy back there. He was happy as a clam as you guys were warming up.
He was super happy until the show started. then the terror went in, but it was okay. I have a lot of experiences with horses and stuff, so he was fine. He had a great time. He had a lot of pets and endless treats, so it was good. And I got the rarest item in Dota out of it, guys.
What is the rarest item in Dota?
There's only 2 in
A
existence.
Slack signature? Oh.
Oh, 2 in
Self-made.
existence. Self-made for me and Casey of the donkey. And Casey doesn't even know how to log into her account. So there's only one. The self-made courier, boys.
You know, there's a self-made for every item that gets in the game, right?
Don't break
No.
it to him. He
The
doesn't know.
self-made, there's only one of them.
I have like 80 self-made items myself, but you know.
I have
There's
one.
only one of them.
I don't know if you knew this, but Slacks has never gotten his Pug or Omni Knight set
That's
into
true.
the game, so he doesn't.
That's true.
This is gonna change with the new system. People are gonna make compendiums. And I'll get that pug in. I'll mark my fucking words, you piece of shit.
Dude, how great would that be if that was part of the bundle for the summit? I would actually laugh so hard.
Oh
Please
my
make
God.
that happen, Slacks.
I'd quit. I'm sorry. If BTS comes up to me and they're like, Slacks, we're putting in Squire Snorts the Omni Pug if you quit Moonduck, I'll be like, see you later, retards.
You know what's funny
Squire
is
Snorts!
I think it's gotten to the point where it's actually ironically a good item now.
Yes!
You know?
We're there!
I'm up for putting it in on some. Obviously, we don't know what the cosmetic scene's going to be like.
I like how you said that, Shannon. Like you have I'm down to put it in the game. I mean, I would vote pass.
Yeah.
Damn, thank you, Suns fan.
So
All right.
I want to change topics here. I want
Sure.
the 2 geniuses on the panel to tell us about Artifact. I mean, clearly you guys know something we
yeah.
don't, because I've been looking at that Artifact Twitter and it follows but 2 humble gentlemen, both of which we have on this show right now. What the hell's going on with that, boys?
Yeah, we're under NDA, guys.
Yeah, I can't say anything. I will say very broad statements. Number one, I've played the game, I have seen the game, and it is fucking cool. And I hate card games. I like it a lot. And there is a metric fuck ton of universe building and lore in that thing. So I am as excited as can be for that shit. And that's all
from
I
my
can
side,
say.
I have not played it. I have not heard about it. I know literally nothing about this game other than it's Dota card game. Sounds cool. That's about it.
And they have good taste in Twitter followers.
Yes. Dang. Anyway, don't be mad because the TF2 and the CSGO people are mad about Artifact, all right? Your games are long dead. You did it to yourselves with your fucking greedy economic bullshit. Dota don't care about cosmetics, boys. We care about gameplay. That's why we got a new game, you fucking pussies. So go push your F button and look at your little gun and cry me a fucking river that you didn't get an expansion, dumbasses. Anyway.
Yeah.
There he is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let the hate flow
Why
through
can't
you.
I have a card game? Oh, sick gun though, my glove.
Well, if you think about it, like as far as lore is concerned, there's nothing with a deeper lore
Yes,
in any
let's
Valve
talk about
game, right?
CSGO lore. Hey, we traveled. Did you know that this used to be a military village with a box over there?
Their best lore is like screenshots of the actual places in real life that they based them on. That's pretty much as deep as it gets.
Yeah,
Their
it's,
best lore is that they heard
Inferno.
a girl in game,
So good.
and it was actually a 13-year-old boy. That's the grandest lore that they have. Oh, was that too far?
Well,
I don't know what
Slash,
you're talking about.
not every game can have a dedicated lore expert in the community that can proliferate the knowledge across the digital waves.
I will say though, TF2's lore was sick. It was a good ass lore. Still a good ass lore.
But as far as Artifact goes, I'm really interested to see how it does. Obviously, I haven't even seen gameplay yet, so who knows
Yeah.
if it's going to be good or not. But
Can we
The
confirm
fact
that it's a
that-
PC game? It's a PC game, right? It's not like
It-
a
it is a
in-person
it'll,
game.
digital
I'm
card
sure it'll be
game.
mobile
Okay.
too. I'm sure. I'd be
It-
shocked. if it
Yeah,
was
Why-
mobile.
that
why
would
wouldn't
be
it
a
be
mistake not to do it.
Yeah.
One would think.
If it's
Although,
too complex for mobile, then I
Yeah.
don't think they can. But
I
I
was
think
just thinking that might be the
if they
problem.
can
Well-
make mobile, if they can like steal Hearthstone market while making it deeper, I think it would be a really good move.
By mobile, like, can you play Hearthstone on a phone, or is it tablet
Oh,
only?
easy,
Yeah.
so easy to play on a phone.
Okay.
I will say though, there's a reason why it's catered to Dota players, because it is very intense. It's hard, and it's like if you compare League and Dota, it's like Dota's equivalent to Hearthstone. Hearthstone is easy to pick up, and it's not that complicated. This game is like you have to get through the learning curve, and it's super fucking like difficult, but at the same and complicated. But at the same time, when you're in, you're fucking in, dude. It's hype. So there's a reason why it's catered specifically to Dota guys, because
And
Dota
from an
players will
economic
enjoy it.
standpoint, it really makes sense because Dota players are the most monogamous gamers of all time. Right? They don't switch games.
They really
And
don't.
this you're giving them a game that's based on the game that you love and play. I mean, it actually
It'd
makes
make
a lot
it
of
so much
sense.
easier. You don't have to learn new names. You can get aspects. Like even if a card doesn't exactly do what Axe does, it'll do approximately what Axe does, and people will be able to get into that. And then by playing one game, it's like the Blizzard model. Here's another game
Yeah.
that has interesting things from this other game, and then you just want to play both games.
and you
It's
can
so
get
smart.
items for the other game in this game.
So the difference,
The
I think,
hype-
is that Blizzard didn't actually make anything good, right? That's the big difference.
True.
They're
Well,
taking garbage and just remanufacturing
No, you can-
another
Hey,
piece
come on,
of garbage.
That's not fair
Hearthstone
to
was
say.
cool
Yeah.
at first.
Yeah, no,
Which
I
one?
think Hearthstone was great
Yeah.
design. I think Heroes of the Storm was a good try. It didn't really succeed fully, but
Good
Damn.
try, Blizzard.
it's-
Good
Good
try.
try.
I mean, I've
Good
played-
try.
I haven't played a lot of Overwatch. I got into it really late, and I don't really play it anymore. But it's cool to be like, hey, if you want this cool skin in this game you play, go play Heroes of the Storm 10 games, and you
Yeah.
get unlocked. That's
How
a
is that-
really smart marketing strategy.
That's not cool. That's pathetic.
I mean,
Hey,
it's
we have
kind
this
Dude, just you
failing
wait.
game.
They're gonna do the
Does anyone
exact
wanna
same
play
thing.
it? They are
No,
not.
I'm just saying that's kind of cool. It's a really easy way to get people that only want to play their game to go try this other one, because they can be like, well, at least I know what 8 of the 50 characters are because they're in the game that I play. Therefore, you can just play those 8 characters and then move on with your life if you want to. Like, I think it's a really good marketing strategy, and it's cool
It
to
is.
see somebody other
Just
than
you guys
Blizzard
wait.
tap into
Your
it.
first pub after Artifact, some guy's gonna take Axe Jungle It's be like, guys, I play 20 games of Artifact and my axe won every game. This looks easy. Which lane do I go into? I know there are 3.
I mean, my big hope with it is that it just stays away from the RNG route. I mean, say what you will about Hearthstone. Some people like the playstyle, some people don't. But I think the unanimous slam to the game as an esport is that it's so much more RNG focused than
Okay,
it was.
I'm not gonna go
right?
on a tangent here. Okay,
Not
no
you.
tangent. I'm gonna limit it to a couple sentences.
Okay.
Blizzard, they made 2 major mistakes, and we're not talking about StarCraft or any of that stuff because that's way past. Hearthstone, the fact that they wanted to go casual instead of competitive, huge mistake, and then vice versa for Overwatch. That's all I'm gonna say. That's my opinion.
But that's where Blizzard hits success is by making games that are like interesting but appeal to everybody. Like that's why my brother played Overwatch. He plays like RPGs and solo player games, but he played fucking Overwatch. That's because the game is like the better balance between casual and competitive, because there's so many gamers that want that. It won't have like long staying power. It won't be a better esport than Dota, but you can't say that Blizzard's not making money.
Sure, Blizzard's making money, but Dota 2 is the world's biggest and most successful like monetary esport because our people are passionate about the game. They're not casuals. I mean, that's just how it goes. I was on a show the other day, and they're like, do you think anything will ever beat Dota's prize pool? And I'm like, no, because Dota forces its player base to be insanely passionate about it because of how hard it is. And more casual, you'll get more viewers, but they'll never like be as passionate as Dota players are. I honestly don't think so. So Blizzard players aren't that passionate. They fucking hate the games like World of Warcraft and shit. Most of them are just addicted to it from aggressive psychological manipulation. But, I mean, they're not like, I love Warcraft!
Dota tries the opposite psychological manipulation.
Right.
It doesn't
They're
even
like,
fucking
stop
work.
playing, retard, you're recorded! You literally can't play anymore today! Get away!
Dude,
So,
Newzoo
yeah.
just put out a new, it's like a minutes watched kind of breakdown of things on Twitch. So the article is about PUBG going from flatline to like it's jumped up in terms of minutes played. It's not even minutes watched. I'm sorry. It's minutes played. The funniest line for me was the World of Warcraft line because it was just a straight bar across. It's like no growth and no loss. You've got 9 million people who are hard addicted that are grinding every day, and there ain't nobody new coming into that game. I'll tell you what. All the others, you know, were up and down. You'd be like, okay, there's an Overwatch patch. I see the influx. Nope, not that for World of Warcraft. Sorry.
Yeah. I understand. Sorry, Blake's here. I had to say hello.
Hi, Blake.
Anyway.
Blake.
So where were we? Yeah, I think that overall
It sounds cool.
was,
Is Shannon's video frozen for you guys too?
Yeah, yours actually froze also, Purge.
I
Oh.
think everybody's
really?
frozen.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Sounds
you
like
and
I'm
Trent are
still
moving,
moving.
but Kevin and Sunsfan look
Yeah,
very
that's
serious.
Yeah!
Like the rare parrot shit going on.
What's your
here.
guys'
Oh,
image of
this is a
Sunsfan?
rare
He's holding his
opportunity.
wrist for me. Is
Yeah.
it
I
the
was
same
cracking
person?
He's got
my
like a
wrist.
hand to the chin.
Yeah.
He's, oh yeah.
This is a good time
See
to
the
tell
wrist now.
dad jokes to the Purge face. All right. Hey, Purge, what do you call an alligator that walks by a computer wrapped in sausage? A megabyte.
What? What does the sausage mean? I don't get
I'm
it.
gonna turn off my video real quick.
Should we both toggle?
Yeah, try to
Can we mess up
toggle
the
your
overlay,
cameras.
please?
Does that work? Testing.
Nope,
Testing my face.
nope. You guys are. Oh, jeez.
Did mine fix?
This
Oh,
sounds
no.
like an issue with you, Iori.
Me?
Well, why are we still fine?
We're still moving. We're
We're
good.
still
So you're
rare
saying
parent
two of
all
us
over here?
just randomly the cameras just malfunction
Yes.
at the same
Yes.
time?
Oh, you're back.
That's the
Okay, you're back.
Hey!
So
Yeah,
yes,
back
that's
too.
exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Although
Oh, I-
Trent and Purge have now switched
Yeah,
spots.
the
So let
order's
me,
split.
Whoa!
Oh,
Sick. Thanks for all the new
no.
Twitter followers. Dang.
Got him.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, where were we? Let's wrap up on Artifact. Don't let the haters dissuade you. There's a reason why it's a Dota game, because there's a lot of the universe to explore, and a lot of the things that you know in Dota will give you an edge up in Artifact. So if you're a Dota player, get excited. That game's going to be fucking tight as fuck. And this is from somebody who has never played a card game before. So good
Except for
shit.
Pokemon.
I did
when
not
was it
play
released?
Pokemon, right?
2018, they said on the
Pokemon?
trailer.
No, I don't know.
Yeah,
It will
so
be
2018.
Soon!
soon
It doesn't
TM. Huh?
matter. When Valve says something's going to be released and they put a date, that's the joke. Which was another fun part about working for Valve. They had to pick me up from the hotel for the shoot every day, and they were always 15 minutes late. And I sent them a lot of messages.
We'll
with,
be
like,
there
Valve
soon,
time
Slack.
and soon TM. They did not laugh, and I laughed heartily every single day. So sorry we're late. Valve employees, lol. Ah, it was good. It was good.
Oh
I did not
my.
appreciate it.
All right. Is there anything else at TI that we need to talk about? At this point, it feels like, yes, Liquid, they ran through the lower bracket. Hooray. We've talked about it. We've read about it. It's very exciting. Any other specifics about TI7? Trent, do you have any fun anecdotes to share? Did you do anything exciting?
I mean, the beer garden was pretty sweet. It was nice, like...
I drank a lot of beer.
A lot of people
I got
bought me
real
beer.
beer.
That was my favorite part about this year. It's like, I would just walk into the beer garden and someone would be like, hey, man, can I buy you a beer?
Yeah.
I'd be like, yes, you can.
Got
They
'em.
were $5. They were all excited. It was
I will say,
excellent.
the beer garden was a little bit sad because, you know, the Dota Brews guys, I don't know if you guys are familiar with this group, but they've got a little logo. They've made an appearance at some of the past summits. Two really nice dudes. They make Dota-themed brews. They've got, like, the Luna Scottish Ale and the Space Cow Milk Stout and all sorts of them. They sent me a promo six-pack a while ago. They were pretty good, and they've been trying to get this gig for years. Like, Valve, we've got the perfect idea. You've got a beer garden. Just let us sell our beer. And this year they were like, yeah, it's a really good idea. We just bought some local beer and slapped the Dota logo on it, and there you go. So,
Oh.
yeah, we saw those guys at the Reddit meetup, and they were very upset. They were visibly like, we're done. Dota Brews is over. This was our one thing that we were hoping to get eventually, and
Those were the actual words.
and fuck it. We're, like, what do we do? And I said, dude,
We-
I actually don't know. What do you do? And if you're not aware of this, distribution for alcohol is very difficult. You can't mail beer. It cost him
Yep.
$30 to mail me a six-pack in New Jersey.
Damn, dude.
So, yeah, not great margins on that.
I mean,
Jesus.
you're also like trying to sell a product with someone else's branding on it. So I mean,
That
probably
is
not
true.
the best business decision.
Maybe
in
a flawed
history.
business model, but
saying.
still,
Jesus
nice guys.
Christ. Why would they take somebody who's been working on a product throughout like years and then replace them with somebody that like it just kind of
It's
showed up?
cheaper. Wow.
Jesus, it was just like the panel. I mean, it was. Just kidding, guys. Just making some yokes. But
Yeah.
you know what? I'm not scared. Let's talk about the fucking panel.
Okay.
All right, let's
Let's
go. Who wants to ruin their career?
All right. PBD
Who's
was the
in?
best talent at TI. No question.
That's what I was gonna say. yeah.
PBD was god tier. I think any panel that didn't have PBD should have had either gods or cap in his steed because they can both fulfill that exact same role of facilitating high level discussion and also like trying to get more out of the other talent members that were there, like the other
I
panelists.
felt bad for day 9. So again, I'll say this. I've said this private to you guys before, but for me,
Sure.
I'm a huge day 9 fanboy. Right? I was really sad I didn't get to meet him.
Hold on, how many viewers
again.
we got right now? Is it...
2,000.
Oh, shit.
All right, you guys all
I
keep
love
this quiet.
everything.
Everybody, shut
Bye.
up.
I'm not going to get too specific because there's no point. I think everybody that was picked as a panelist can be a good panelist. It's just the compositions made absolutely no sense. And PPD was the one person that just carried every panel for the most part. And I think if you put machine, like there was all this machine versus day 9 talk, and I think both are really good at what they do. Machine is the type of guy that you can put probably any panel with, any panelist with, and it'll be, be pretty good. No awkward pauses and whatnot. Day 9, maybe not the most prototypical host, but I think he has a higher ceiling for entertainment. And of course, this is a little bit of bias coming through, but to do that, to actually accomplish it, you have to put the right people. And there's a reason that some people do this for a living that weren't invited. I don't know why they weren't invited, but there's a reason that a pure pro player panel doesn't work is because people don't know how to fill. They don't have that skill set, and it makes sense because they don't do that for a living at all. So that was my big question mark about the event is why some people weren't invited.
To
like Trent, for
clarify,
example.
if you guys don't know what fill means, it basically means like if Day 9 asks a question, like, what did you think about that game? If you have a bunch of inexperienced panelists, there's always going to be at least like a 1-second pause where everybody's kind of like, do I go? Should I go? Do I feel confident about going? Experienced panelists will always, somebody is going to pick that up every single time. And if you keep cutting those like awkward seconds out of the broadcast of the panel, it's going to really make it better. It's going to make it seem less awkward. Everybody's going to be having a better time. Things like that. People will be more willing to ask each other questions, further a discussion. They'll follow up people's sentences and continue. They'll ask questions. Like you saw PPD do that a lot towards the end. He would ask the other panelists questions to try to get them engaged, but ideally it should be like everybody has a good discussion that Day 9 can kind of start, maybe flow it, but like Day 1 was like Day 9 talking almost exclusively because nobody was picking it up at a good pace or elaborating well enough. Like the first day that because the green room is where I was working on my stuff, Day9 was like constantly coaching them in a very constructive way the first day or two, like being like, hey, if you say like Spirit Breaker is really good right now, just like just say why. Like Spirit Breaker is really good right now because he helps gank invis heroes, or he's really good at closing games out or something. I'm just like filling here, but he was just being really good about teaching them, and they definitely improved heavily, especially by like day 3, day 4.
Sure.
Like there's a lot of times I would do my segment and it'd go back to them and nobody would say shit about what I just did. And then after the event they'd come over and be like, oh, I really liked your segments. I'm like, why didn't you fucking say so on air? They're like, oh yeah, that was really interesting. That made a big difference. And then they can move on, but nobody would say anything. So every time it would be Sean have to be like, he would have to be the person that does that. So if that happens like so mechanically, it makes a less organic experience, or it makes the show worse.
Sure.
And that's the downside to taking new people, and it's kind of what everybody expected. If you take all new people, they might flop, they might do okay. It's probably gonna be awkward for a few days, but then you get the benefits. They know more about drafting. They're higher MMR players. They're more respected for the Dota talent. So there's positives and negatives, and the negative was definitely the roughness of the panel that happened.
Yeah.
So I'd like to talk about Day9 in general. Great guy, good time, and I feel like he did the best that he could as well. You have to understand, if you're watching this podcast right now, you are not TI's audience. TI is a massive event that draws in more eyes to Dota than any other time in the year. And that is something that has to be appealed to. 99% of the people that play video games are not on our Dota 2. They're not good at Dota. They're like 2K max, and they're brand new players. TI has to appeal to these people. That's how we grow the game. And Day9 was exceptional at that. People are like, oh, he's 3K, why is he on the panel? Because he should be there. Because we have to put stuff in the easier to understand words and have an approachable guy that makes it fun to watch. What happened is that there was no person except for PPD, who is a flower, by the way, but you have to have a Flare person on a panel. You have to have a Pyrian Flax. You have to have somebody there that is making it interesting to watch. The problem with the panels is that they were specifically tailored and very good for high-level Dota players. I have like 6 or 7 friends that watch this TI, and they said that they all shut it off during the panels because they don't understand what the fuck people are talking about. You have to have somebody that maybe is the stupidest person in the world, Pyrian Flax, just kidding, but somebody that a normal person wants to listen to and engage with because they're like, oh, what is that guy going to say next? And it could be nothing about Dota. I feel like that was the big weakness. The pro players were fantastic. Their insight was amazing. The way that they talked about or thought about the game was great. But if you're not somebody that plays the game at a high level or even knows what the fuck a Tidehunter is, talking about what Tidehunter did in that game for the entirety of the panel and what he should have built is meaningless nonsense. And Day9 is fantastic at making stuff approachable for new people. But if he just has 4 dudes that are only going to talk about high-level shit, he has nothing to talk about. There's no transition except for like, well, in my pub games, and like, I mean, that's the best you can possibly do. So I understand what they were going with. They wanted a really professional, really knowledgeable panel, and I feel like they succeeded on that. But at the same time, you gotta have a reason for new people to watch it, or else it's just gobbledygook. I mean, nobody understands anything. So maybe that was great.
And if those panelists don't explain things well enough, then Sean feels the need to do so. And if he does so, then he spends 10-15 seconds talking to explain it to make it more digestible, and then he has to throw it again.
Right.
So it basically puts his time, because if you talk too long, it's bad, so you need to throw it. So, but if every single time he has to talk, he has to break something down simply, then it's harder for him to be a host afterwards because he has to do both jobs. He's kind of like doing part of the job of the panelists while also hosting. So I think that's part of the reason that sometimes people felt weird about the balance, or if Sean talked too much or stuff like that.
Right. And
because
can I make another point too?
Sure.
I just saw someone mention this in chat, and it's completely true. Why was Jack's Corner so good? Because they didn't talk about Dota. They talked about fun things in the Chinese scene. They talked about personalities, storylines,
relationships,
yeah. And that's what you have to make something entertaining. It has to be about the people, not about the product. And there was a lot of product talk. There was a lot of what just happened in the last game. You need that flair person. So
Personally, that
that's-
was one
that's
of
why
the
it's so
reasons
good.
why I was a little disappointed about not having a chance to do anything at TI and stuff, is because one of the things that I do the whole year, obviously, is I cast a fuck ton of games, like
Right.
a shitload. Like I've seen all these players on like 4 different teams this year throughout all these tournaments and everything like that. And it felt like I love the panel. I agree, because I love that high tier analysis. It helps me grow when I'm listening to PPD and Ake talk about some shit.
Sure.
But it wasn't much. There wasn't much focus on like the actual players themselves, or like what those guys have done this year. And like, there's so much opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Story.
And
line.
that's
Storylines.
yeah, that's the kind
Storylines.
of stuff that I really felt like I could have brought to something like that, or
Yeah.
someone else could have too,
Sure.
like Cap
And
or Gods, who
there's
did that whole
very-
year of it.
There's very few casters like you in that way, Trent, in that you do watch that many games. Because once you get up to TI and there's fucking 18 teams, I
Yeah.
guarantee that no player or no caster has watched a lot of every single team. I doubt even you would be that at that point,
Yeah.
Trent. But you ideally want people to have good familiarity. That way you can bring those points up, or talk about last time X player did something similar. Like, having that history is really important, because it's all about building connections. And if the panel is just like 4 guys talking and you just take turns looking at their faces without visual aids, like, that's why the Weatherman is appealing, because it's the same stuff but you have visual aids. So I think that's really where panels need to change. If you can't do this banter thing, is that you need to have those guys talking with visual aids to make it more digestible. It's really important. Otherwise it's just going to be boring every time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in like the Suns fan camp, where I was expecting to be too biased in favor of Day 9, because I've been a fan of his for a super long time. I started in StarCraft when I first got into esports, when he was, kind of at the forefront of that whole Twitch bubble and all that stuff. And I feel like he's one of those people that knows a lot about a lot of things, right? He's amazing at a lot of games, but he's also got, I think, a master's in mathematics. Like, he's a really smart guy. And to me, he's the kind of person that the skill cap rises if you can get him on the panel with somebody like Cap, who can banter and keep up and kind of go back and forth. And I agree with everything you said about someone like Puri and Flax. But to me, I kept watching panels and just thinking, like, if Cap was on this panel, if it was this plus Cap, we'd be in business. We just need that one person to kind of intermix and weave and banter and just break it up a little bit, but still know a lot of what they're talking about when it comes to
Yeah, how many
Dota.
laughs did we get on the panel? My God.
Seriously.
Like,
I was just
was
gonna
it
say,
like 5
somebody
laughs?
there needs to be a
Day 9
guy
laughing.
that just laughs. That's his job, and the
Yeah.
panel's instantly 50% better, guaranteed.
As long as it's,
Good one.
yeah. But anyway, I still think it was great. But again, the problem with the last TI is memorability, right? I mean, what panel do you remember?
One
because it was
panel,
great?
PPD, when he mocked Rezo for the arms thing. That's my
Boom.
only thing I remember from the entire paneling of TI.
I remember the Arteezy EE panel
Yes.
because I was expecting it to be not that great, and I remember thinking, wow, this is really good. They're funny, they're engaging, they're kind of making fun of each other, and the info is really good. I felt like that was a panel that actually started to cross the bridge a little bit, because Envy and Arteezy have such a unique relationship, so to speak.
Sure.
Yeah, all the best panels were the stand-ins, basically. Yeah, you guys are right about that.
But I mean, that's also just a weird thing too, you know? I mean, you're on the final day, you've been working all week to get to that big spot. I mean, panelist is very similar to casting, where it's like, oh my God, I've been given the final game to TI. This is like my reward. I've worked all year and they think I'm the best caster. And then you're going to take these panelists and be like, hey, thanks for paneling for 2 weeks, but let's put EE up there, huh? Give up your spot. I mean, don't you guys think that's a little fucked up a little bit to
Depends how
do
much
that
they
to
do.
people? You know?
If it's just like one game, I don't think it's a big deal. But I mean,
Yeah.
that's usually when, because nobody wants to do that at the start of the tournament because the teams are still in it.
Sure.
Nobody's been eliminated yet, so that's our thing. Ideally, they'd be put in at the start, somewhere in there, rather than the finals. So I kind of agree, but again, it's all about the end broadcast. What's most appealing to watch, and to be honest, people wanted to watch Sumail. And
Sure.
Sumail actually did fantastic. Like, he
Yeah, he
actually
was
did
very
so
good.
good on all of his panels.
Agreed.
So it kind of sucks for those people, but considering that they were in the same vein of they didn't expect it to get invited anyways, I don't even feel
Yeah.
that
It's
the
like,
slightest.
it's part of the territory, right? Like, from an
I don't know.
objective perspective.
I'm not a panelist. I'm actually asking if that is fucked up or not.
Well, I mean, it's fucked up in the sense of, like, is it fair? You know, I was
Yeah.
hired for this job, and you just kind of gave my job to someone who doesn't even really want this job, but just has a lot of good information. So, is it really fair? Probably not. But I mean, since when has the talent game ever been fair? You know, as per se,
That's
it's
true.
all about the end product. So I think it's expected. I think if you're in that position and you're really upset about it, you probably need to reevaluate your expectations of like what's realistic in the space, because that's never going to go away. It doesn't matter what game you're in. People always want to hear what the pro players have to say. You know.
Remember when
Yeah.
Bulba talked for like 4 minutes straight?
That was so funny.
And then
So,
they
yeah.
let someone have one sentence, and then he talked for another 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So imagine that, except 1 hour long in a private room with him, dude. I'm not even making fun of that. My mind was so blown. That kid, it's like a beautiful mind.
Yeah.
But he wears one shirt to every event.
He
It's-
wears.
it's-
He
it's not one
remembers.
shirt.
You got to balance
It's one
things out,
hoodie.
right?
He remembers the
I mean,
craziest
everything.
stuff too. Like, just
Yeah, he's
all
really
these
good at it.
metas. I've never heard another pro player talk about metas the way he does. Where he's like, "Do you guys remember back before, or like back right after TI3 when everyone was playing X hero, and then like, oh, do you guys remember right after TI4 when everyone was playing this hero? It's just like that, except then you're gonna combine it with this because that was changed. Like, he just goes.
I
man.
created
He just, like-
Arteezy. That's
Yeah.
his favorite one. That's a classic right there.
Oh God.
I was impressed by his ability to almost end a sentence and then find a way to turn it into another sentence. And that's coming from me. Like, it was just like, man, did I used to be like this? Like when I was worse?
Oh, he was so good.
Oh man.
Excellent.
Yeah, we did
Yeah.
a panel like that at a Star Ladder where Bulba's team was eliminated, and he was like, "Hey, you want to come on?" He was just like, not really, but okay, sure." And the entire draft was just Bulba talking. I'm pretty sure it was just him, and he didn't stop. And then we're like, "All right, guys, panel's over. We're gonna kick it to some casters." And then he just said, "Hey, guys, that was pretty fun," and then just walked away, and that was it. Like it was no big
Damn.
deal. Didn't even think twice. You know, just casual, cool, man. That's Bulba.
Yeah, no
Ta-
other
ta-
game has a Bulba. That's the beauty of it.
Talking about it now, I kind of feel like last year's TI was maybe the best idea. The draft panel with regular panel. Maybe
Sure.
Yeah, that was good.
if I was to criticize last year's, I would say maybe the regular panel needed to have a little bit more analysis on it.
Mhm.
But I thought the draft panel is like by far, that's like taking the liquid gold and using it for its purpose rather than trying to like smear it all over the rest of the segment. Because like all of the panelists they had this year, they're all very good in the draft, obviously, but they had issues in other places. So unless
Yeah.
they like work full time as talent and get really good at the other things, then I really kind of like the split panel, the draft
Yeah.
panel kind of a thing. I think it works well.
I get a lot of my friends and family that don't watch Dota did watch last year's panels. I mean, it kept them interested just because they had variety of people that like said stuff that wasn't so intense. Can I go on one tangent though?
Okay.
Breakout personality for this one, I think really Machine. He was
yeah.
unbelievably good. They were talking at the beginning, as typical. I have no idea what I'm doing in an event. And I was like, yo, am I stage hosting this year? Like the day before the event started. And like, we're thinking about it. But I'm like, oh, okay. Anyway, they put Machine there, and he had never stage hosted before. He had never had a microphone on a stage doing anything, and he blew that shit away. And it was such a good decision to let him do that. Like, he's so natural at it. Holy shit.
Yeah.
It surprises
And,
me that he hadn't practiced before because he did so good every single time. I don't think there was ever a time that he was on stage that I felt like he did a bad job. But he's very good at like
and it's hard
diffusing
too. Like going
uncomfortableness.
back and forth with the voice actor guy, like it seemed really easy and natural, but that's not easy to do when you're like the two people having a conversation in front of a full stadium and kind of making jokes back and forth. It's real easy for that to get real cringy, real fucking quick,
Yeah.
and it never did. It always felt
Or-
real and genuine.
Or you'll accidentally talk when the crowd is cheering and nobody hears you. There's like so many difficult things. Or maybe like it's even difficult to hear what he's saying in his earpiece. Like there's so many things that can go wrong that all of a sudden make it difficult to make that seem normal. And
So when you're a talent, there's make it or break it moments, right? People will give you impossible scenarios, and it's either you do it and you rock it, or you don't, you're mediocre, and then you have to deal with that and maybe not get hired. They fucking tried to assassinate Machine this event. He did not know he was a stage host until like hours before. They told him he was doing the fucking loser interviews, which both the people that did them last year were not invited back. I mean, they literally tried to ruin his career this event, and he fucking blew it out of the water. He was incredible. And homie knows how to swim, dude.
We
He
should
knocks it
talk
out of the
about
park.
those. The
loser
loser
interviews?
interviews.
Let's
That's a
go,
good
sure.
topic.
I
So,
am a
love
big
'em.
fan.
Yep.
Big fan. I remember in the StarCraft days, this was like a conversation of should loser interviews be a thing, and it always aired on the side of no for the most part, like players are the hot commodity, and that's still totally true. But I think it's so important to give players an opportunity just to humanize themselves and resonate with their audience so that their audience sees something other than that sad walk off the stage. Even if it's tears or just a, hey, we wish we played better, thanks for supporting us, it still gives you a platform to show good sportsmanship, show thanks to your audience, and just, say something positive before your last appearance on TI. Like, I think that helps the storylines so fucking much.
It's one of those things that players don't want to do, but it's actually better for them.
Yes.
Yeah, like I think they're gonna get flamed less when they lose if they show like that they feel awful about it. I think like it builds their brands so fucking much despite losing, because the only people that get interviews previously were winners. So it's like you just keep seeing the same kind of winning teams. It just, and especially it also shows the losing side, because every match that's played there's a loser. That team feels fucking awful, and we only ever show the winners. So everybody just gets excited about who wins TI, but never focus on the people that you're sad for. Like, unless they tweet about it, you just don't see anything. It's all just like super private, and like it sucks that they have to be on camera looking sad as fuck, but it makes it you connect so much more to those people now, and like I guarantee they get more fans because of it.
I think it should be judged on the character, like the teams and stuff. Like I feel like there are some teams that definitely are okay with doing it right away. Like maybe someone like Bulba or something who's like very vocal, and although he's really emotional and stuff, I think like he felt like he probably wanted to do it. I even talked to Brax before the game because he was coaching them and everything, and I said, so like, okay, so we were watching like a loser interview earlier in the day or something, and I was like, so who would do the loser interview for you guys, like if you went down and stuff? And he was like, well, it's not gonna happen. And then he was like, well, Bulba. It would be Bulba for sure, because like he's just the guy to do it. But I feel like there's some of them felt a little rushed. Like maybe those people weren't necessarily ready to do it then. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I feel like maybe the next day loser interview would have been okay.
You lose all the emotion though. They have time to think about it. I mean, that's the moment. And the reason why it's uncomfortable, the reason why people don't like loser interviews is because it creates cognitive dissonance. You think of people as not human beings but as players. And then you see them in one of the worst moments of their lives, probably. And you say, this is a human being. Like, this is real emotion. And it's a bad feeling. You don't want to think of that person as a human being. You want to think of them as, like, fucking EE. You don't want to think of him as Jackie, the guy who just lost millions of dollars in one of the worst days of his life.
The thing he does literally for 90% of his hours surviving.
But that's real. And that's something that's so rare in something like sports, any of this internet shit. We're forum kids, you know? We go on Reddit and we fucking talk shit because we don't get to see that impact. But that's reality. And that's why it's so important to show that. And it was beautiful, all of them. I love the loser interviews. And, oh, God.
Okay.
I almost had to do one. And I was like, that is the worst idea ever.
So let me ask you a follow-up question. Okay, it's down the similar lines. Complete opposite. Liquid wins. All the shit's going down, and then they see everybody walking back. They get the shot of Kuroki shedding a tear. For about 2 seconds, you're like, wow, this is actually really powerful. This guy just won. He's overwhelmed with emotions. Another 2 seconds goes by. You're like, okay, I get it. Still a very powerful situation. 5 more seconds go by, and you're kind of like, is there a payday here? What's going on? Is somebody going to hit him with a water balloon? What are we doing? And then another 10 seconds goes by, and you're like, come on, guys. What are we doing here? This poor guy's just crying. Give him a moment, you know? Did anyone have a similar reaction towards the end? That I felt bad for Kuro, where it's like it started as a really good humanizing piece and then got a little bit too...
You guys
are
remember
you talking about
the EG shot? Where they had the camera on EG for 64
rough,
seconds
man.
after they
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was in a similar vein.
It was
but,
so
yeah.
good, though.
I don't know
good.
if that was confusion, because the way that Toby vocalized it, Toby did it really good. But the pause was so long that I imagine production was like, is that his throw? Is he going to say anything? Because if Toby doesn't say, like, back to the casters or make it definitive, like, and that's the end of the game or something, then production doesn't know to press the button and switch. So it was, I don't know if it was just production error or what, but it was real good. It was real good.
It was a very poetic throw, but one that production had no idea that it was a poetic throw. For EG, not again. Or, it's over for them. Are you what?
And then just sat there.
Yeah.
Like, but it was perfect. That was the one really big upset of the tournament, unless I'm missing any other ones. Like EG going out second round. That was super unlikely.
Hey,
but I don't think
Sunsfan.
any other team got upset.
Yes.
What are my 2 most hated heroes? The 2 heroes I think are the most pathetic. Hit me up.
The most pathetic hero.
Wind Ranger Dazzle.
Wind Ranger and Winter Wyvern. I've said it for a year and a half.
They were
EG.
so shit.
Dude, at least they got
You fucked
picked.
up, buddy. You fucked up. Anyway.
No tiny.
God,
Tiny
Winter
dead hero.
Wyvern.
How did
Poor
they play
Tiny.
the Wind Ranger? Was it Universe playing it offlane?
Someone played it off lane. I don't remember who it was.
It was kind of similar to
I don't
DC
remember any
style.
support
Frev played a lot
ones.
of semi carries offlane. It was pretty good.
Oh yeah, it might have
Winter
been Fred.
Wyvern. Anyway, yeah, so let's wrap up loser interviews. They're painful, they suck, but when you have a good guy doing them, and everybody, it's the same feeling. It's miserable
I
to
mean,
watch
that's
them, but
a
it's
thing
important.
that might be overlooked, though, right?
Yeah.
Is if somebody else does it, how good would it be?
Bad.
Machine was
Machine
you could
was
very
real good.
clearly see that he was emotionally relating to the players.
Yeah.
And did it in a play way. I would never be able to do that. I would say something like unnecessarily blunt and offend somebody, but he was able to like
Right.
relate. He
Slacks
gave
in
Boba
a
hug. It
clown
was so good.
outfit. Giving
Exactly. I could never do them. And that's why you can't have guys like Charlie Yang do them, because Charlie Yang isn't a human being. He's just not going to be able to relate to people. He's a fucking psychopath. But Machine, was almost crying after the Zai interview. I was in the EG thing, and Zai was had tears in his eye, and Machine had fucking tears in his eyes. He's a real human being. So it's
Probably helps that Machine used to play CS professionally, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like he used to be on teams and stuff.
Right, he knows it.
So he knows what that's like. That helps a lot too.
Yeah.
Sure.
I don't know
But
how
anyway.
well I would do, but I think if I was at an event and when I was assigned that, I wouldn't say, "Oh God, there's no way." I would have a go. I think Machine did a really good job. Well, no, I mean
you would do that with losers interview? I'd quit.
You think so?
Jesus.
I
Hell
mean-
yeah, you have to be perfect. You have to. Yeah.
So, but
You
you
have to empathize.
could see the progression of Machine, right? Because at the beginning he was almost saying too much, and as they went on, he
Right.
realized literally all I need to do is say, "What's going
Talk.
through your head right now?" And just
Right.
let him talk. It's not about the interviewer at all, and I think that's
What do you
the
want to
most
say to your
important thing.
supporters?
At the very beginning, it's just I know this. It's don't give the whole preamble. Just fucking let him talk, capture some of the emotion, and move on. And I think there was a noticeable progression as he
That's
got
true.
more practiced
You
at it.
could have done it, Ziori. I agree. You're like that. You're like, go, beautiful people, go.
Exactly. I
Feel
like to
free,
let people
losers.
express themselves.
Right.
Like
I
Andy
couldn't.
Milanokis.
Yeah. Damn.
Okay, maybe that is a good counterexample. Fair.
All right, Mr. Rue's biting. I gotta let him out. Keep talking, boys.
All right.
Get
Wow.
out of here.
He's biting. Wow. That dog
This was
is
a
feisty.
good TI though, man. I really I genuinely enjoyed watching the games more than any other TI I've been to. And this was the first event that I really appreciated the outside setup more than ever. I've been to enough majors and huge events and arenas now that it kind of feels like, yeah, Dota in arena is Dota in an arena, but TI with that whole outdoor area, the huge HD screen, the beer garden that overlooks it, it's just it still has that unique vibe, man. It's like TI still stands apart from all the other events as a spectator. And it's
There were so many
I'm glad.
bystanders too that knew
Mhm.
nothing about Dota that were just coming in to check it out. I just saw so many people who were just
Yep.
kind of confused, but a lot of them just stayed for long times watching the games, trying to figure out what all these nerds were doing.
Well, that's the best part. The tickets always sell out in the venue and people get all flustered about it, but you can watch every game for free in HD in beautiful Seattle weather as long as it's not raining, just at the Seattle Center right next to the venue without a ticket. I love that Valve does that. They make it accessible for anybody that's just in the general area. It's 10 out of
Yeah.
10.
It was a very, very, very good TI for sure.
Yep. That was good.
Even though we
was
bitch
fun.
about certain things, it's there's always something to bitch about.
Well, you know what?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
we bitch is because we were passionate and we want it to be better next time. If we just came on here and we're like, wonderful, TI, no problems, then we don't give a fuck about our
Yeah,
community.
true.
Just like CSGO. Anyway.
Oh, God. All right. Is anything else we want to talk about? Should we mention some of the roster changes? I know there's been little sprinkles coming out. Of course, Anna out of OG, one of the bigger roster shuffle
Woo.
announces to come out so far.
There haven't been
Rest
that
in
many. I
peace.
mean, I know about a lot of them that are hush hush.
Yeah.
So perhaps we should table this until
Okay.
it becomes more official.
Yeah, I'm
Because
into
there's
that.
going to be
Oh.
a ton. There's going to be a ton of movement as
Yeah.
usual.
Per usual.
Does anyone know how the lock system works? My question. Because is there a
Wasn't-
lock system? Is it gone?
Wasn't it? No, it's just about. Remember, it's like because every player
Yeah,
gets
it's just
points if you win a
points.
tournament. So it takes your top 3 scores or something. So
Yeah.
technically,
So does that mean
means
we
you
have
can,
no locks, right?
I guess that means no locks.
Huh. That is
I don't.
interesting.
I don't remember.
That sounds awful if that's true.
No locks. Let them be free.
There's no way that won't be abused.
Isn't it in
I'm
everyone's
Marchese.
interest to just have like a cutoff date? Like
I feel like
teams,
the blog was
organizers.
so long ago. I need to like double check.
You know the best thing about this is that players, not teams, get points. So you just send one player to every event. They get 14 points, and then he's like, "No locks. Who wants to go to TI? Anybody? Huh?
Yeah.
Pick me up. $4 million. Insta invite to TI."
Yeah, that
You
is a
know the
little
best part?
peculiar.
I don't think it ever says anywhere that you have to play Dota at the major. So my idea is I get in contact with a venture capitalist. I raise $500,000, and I just invite teams of Dota from around the world to come and clean my house for a week. And then I'll reward them points based on like who got the toilet cleaned the best, who gave me the best back massage. I mean, they don't have to play Dota. It just has to be worldwide, and there has to be an audience. So
It's like Cray-America, dude. You're gonna get some interns.
Basically, we can do slave labor on the pro Dota teams. If anyone's watching there that has a few mil, let me know. I'll call it the Intercontinental.
Dude, call MTV. It sounds like we've got a reality show brewing here.
Cards Against Humanity, let's do it. We're in.
Slacks, we have one more topic we've got to tackle, though.
What's that?
The promised All-Star match.
What?
Didn't you say earlier we were going to talk about the All-Star match? Remember, we brought it up right away.
I'll talk
and then
about
you said, did we talk about it?
It's garbage.
Worst
I
All-Star
love
match of all
Valve.
time.
It was amazing. Thank you. Great All-Star match.
All right, I was not involved with it anyway, so I'll shit talk it. This is the problem.
Goodbye. Go ahead.
They did a prize pool for it, so they felt they had to do captain's mode. But then the problem is you're playing fucking captain's mode with a bunch of all-stars, and it's supposed to be fun. So one team tried, the other team didn't try. Boom, shit's over. So it's just like meta picks versus non-meta picks. It should have been, but you have to get both teams on the same page, but they won't do that. So I think the only good solution is you have to play a funky game. Take some like planning out of it. Don't let them pick. Oh shit, Techies is released. Well, they'll pick Abaddon, Lone Druid, just fucking clear minds and don't.
Oh, I remember that one.
It's kind of similar to that basically. I think last year's All-Star match was fantastic, and I don't know if the other ones were that great, but this one just sucked.
Was anyone else hoping there would be some sort of reveal involved with the All-Star match? Like I was watching it thinking that there was going to be a plot twist, or that like Techies was going to be spawned.
Here's the plot twist. It's fucking garbage. That was the big reveal.
Yeah.
Surprise!
And like, ignoring all of the audio mistakes that happened.
I mean, that was
like, the match
that
just
made it so much worse.
One team's tryharding, one team's picking like just shit heroes. Like
Let's
there was an
have
ogre
casters
carry.
cast. Let's have
All
this storied duo that we haven't seen in forever cast this match on top of the audio of the players.
I mean,
how is that a thing?
Here's where they went wrong. This is the All-Star match that everybody was asking for. Everybody on Reddit, everybody wanted this All-Star match. You don't know what you want. There's a reason why, things happen like this, because you're always thinking of what could have been. If only it was an All-Star match that players cared about, then it'd be fucking boring. That's exactly what we got. So at least I'm going to consider it a success. We will never have another All-Star match that has a huge prize pool and 10 players that are playing it seriously, because it fucking sucks. At least we got it out there. It was a good event to get it out there.
I mean, if you think about it,
that,
what's the difference between this All-Star match and any other game in TI?
Nothing.
There's nothing. Like they're all basically All-Star match. Everybody's like ridiculously
Except
good
people
at this
didn't
point,
care
right?
about this game.
Oh yeah,
even
one
though it was
team,
100.
like it wasn't even close. It was like the least close game of the whole tournament, pretty much.
Right.
Like it was just
Now
super one-sided, really fast.
There's only one loser, and that is the kidnapped AC. There were 2 people that Valve kidnapped for that event, AC and Dendy. They didn't even know they were coming. A van pulled up. They kidnapped their asses. They brought them there for a day. They sent them home the next day. That poor bastard gets on the stage. He says his line, and then you literally can't hear him for an hour and a half. That poor son of a bitch. AC, I'm sorry, my friend.
You know what else ruined the match was the chat wheel.
Yes.
Like this is the event where you want the players talking to each other, and instead they just spam fucking chat wheel the whole time. Like if it's a regular game, whatever, use chat wheel because those players aren't going to type. But if it's All-Star match, I want players like making memes by like typing words to each other that they don't necessarily understand and like bad sentences or flames and shit. We'll never get that because instead it was just all chat, they're all dead, shit like that.
It also just added to the noise clutter too. So it was already hard to hear, and then all these other aspects just compounded it. So yeah, I mean, go ahead.
No, it was a cool idea though. I like what they were thinking with booth audio and stuff. The problem was communication. I don't know anything about it, but did they tell the casters that they were going to have in-booth audio? Why did they tell anybody that they were going to have the crowd stuff? I mean, planning.
It was not well
you know?
planned.
It wasn't the
Yeah.
best
That's what I
plan.
heard.
I
They
mean-
did not have a lot of forward notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, dealing with player audio in-game is not easy. We had a little taste of that at Summit 2, I think, when we did that for the All-Star game, and it's really difficult because at any moment something could erupt and Arteezy could flame someone and say something funny, but obviously if you leave the feeds on, you can't understand it when they say something funny anyway. So the only way we could figure out how to do it was just to toggle and have the cue the casters, okay, we're going to Team B, and they say, okay, let's see what Team B's saying after that fight or whatever. But you miss a lot in doing that. So it's a really difficult production achievement to be able to do that live and still catch all of the best audio moments in the booths.
It doesn't
really
sound
hard.
that hard. Don't you just record all the audio just like you would on a regular game? And then when you do an instant replay in game, you just do an instant replay of like funny things that they
like the
said
only
later.
good way to do it.
That is a way to do it, yeah. But I mean, that's not quote unquote easy. You need multiple operators monitoring each
Oh
booth.
boy! If
Oh,
only
wow.
they had more money.
I'm not
to do
saying
more.
it's impossible.
$30 million.
Dude, I'm just saying that takes
Buy more
coordination.
compendiums.
You can't just take Trent and be like, all right, here you go, mix in the audio. You need people dedicated, and you need a coordinator. It's a whole fucking thing, man. It goes
If
from,
only there were more Dota talent that could have helped.
Well,
Damn it, guys.
you know.
If only half the talent was sitting around because they were only used in the group stage. Oh, no. All right, I'm getting too deep. I'm getting too dank. I'm about to lose my invite to TI8. We better end this show. I gotta
All right.
go.
All right. Does anybody have one last positive thing they'd like to share? Where, yeah, we should cut
Oh,
this
I
thing.
have
We're
one
almost
more
at an hour and a
negative
half.
thing, but it's a story we're sharing.
Huh?
So
All right.
when I finally checked out the screen at main stage, they had like set designed it in a way that they there's basically like a stand for the TV, and it's pretty flat. It's like this big, long, flat, thin disc, like a big circle, and it stabilizes the TV. But it was black, and it didn't fit the rest of the set, which is silver. So what they did is they built this like silver cover to go over it. But the problem was that they gave it height. Like the previous one was like super thin, so I could stand on it. But this one was like this thick, and it was a giant circle radiating out from the pole. So for me to like touch the right side of the screen, I had to walk like forwards. Like if the screen's here, I can't push my talk. Do push to talk. All right, screen's here, okay. And the thing came out like this. So I had to walk all the way in front of the TV to touch the right side of the screen, or I would have had to like lift my leg, like 6 inches off the ground to put my foot on this stand to reach and like touch the right side of the screen. So it was like one of those funny, like somebody designed the set, but nobody actually stood up there and tried to touch the opposite side of the screen. So every time, like, it was so hard for me to go to the right side of the screen. So I just didn't do it the whole event. And we had to like angle the TV because the lights like made the glare really
that was
bad.
really
and then,
bad.
Like after
First segment.
the day after we angled it, somebody like cleaned it and pushed it back to where it was. So like the next day we didn't even notice until the second set. We're like, somebody fucking moved the TV back. We had to angle it again. It was just a pain in the ass. Like people were not did not plan super well about the screen, but you know we should have caught it day one as well. So
I would like to tell a story about Dendybot, the robot, the evil robot.
Let's do it.
Please.
All right. They invited me to go play against the OpenAI bot, and the guy said that they wanted the best player. They wanted a variety of players. They already got a bunch of pros, so I'm assuming that they hired me because they wanted a fucking idiot to play against it. Now, I knew that this creature, I could not beat it, and I did an interview. They aired 5 seconds of the interview that I did because the entire time I was shit-talking the bot in the interview, and they said that they were upset with my interview. Basically,
Valvos or OpenAI?
OpenAI didn't want to air any of it because they were upset. I asked them, how did you make this robot? And they said, well, it's been playing against itself for 10,000 years. And my response is, what have you done, you psychopaths? You've created a robot and you put it in the worst situation possible. 1v1 mid on Dota for 10,000 years? You created a beast that only cares about death and murder. And they're like, no, it's a good thing. It's a nice product. And I'm like, it's not nice. If this thing ever got into anything besides Dota, it would only want to kill anything. And they're like, that can't happen. It's just coded to play Shadow Fiend. And I'm like, so you think Dota players think outside the box? And the OpenAI guys are like, what the fuck is wrong with this guy? And one of the Valve guy recording me is dying. He is busting up laughing the whole time. He's crying. And I'm like, you've created a godless monster. The entire interview.
Dude, they probably thought you were like a typical like artificial intelligence hater or something like that, and they had to like they just didn't understand your jokes.
No,
It sounds
no,
like-
they weren't jokes. I wasn't kidding. I was like, do you have any idea what you've done? They were like, this is a practice tool. It will help people get better. And I was like, no, it won't, bro. People are going to hack this shit, and when they go mid, they're going to press a button and let OpenAI take over, and then they're going to walk away and turn it off. And how are you going to measure that on an esports thing? I can't go into a race in a NASCAR and have a robot take over my fucking car. You're going to ruin esports. They're like, no, it's a practice tool. Anyway, so I get to play the bot. Round 1 against OpenAI.
For the record here, I see you have 5 Shadow Fiend games ever.
Yes.
That sound right? Yeah.
I knew I was going to lose. So I decided I would test the bot's abilities. So I started off by buying maximum amount of tangos. Fairy fires. And I flew out more fairy fires. And what I did was I made a trail from the mid past my towers. Because I figure Shadow Fiend wants to hit things. So maybe the robot will be led into the tower. Yeah, it did not work. It actually just ignores the items. It's very smart. I did find out 2 things. One, when I first played it, it did not understand Magic Wand. It understood Magic Stick, but no one was stupid enough to buy Magic Wand. So, almost got them there. They said that I had the record for the longest time because all I did was fly couriers at it, and it chased the couriers while I ran away. Not an effective strategy, but I was going for the time limit, and they never aired any of that. So, yes. Yeah, the bot is
I
very
wonder
smart.
why.
Yeah.
Sounds
So
like they
let's see.
spent their time very well.
Yeah, 2 full days of games with players never aired. And
Yep.
like 3 hours running
Yeah,
bots
this sounds like the
around
best
with
content
couriers.
ever. honestly.
Yeah, you were really worth the investment, dude.
Woo, good times. But yeah, they were like, so when will you fight the bot? And I'm like, fight the bot? I can't beat the bot. It was bad. But on the video, it looked like I was certainly not a dumbass. So yeah.
Yeah.
So good
Had
job.
to do some heavy editing to achieve
Heavy
that, I guess.
and 5 seconds in that video. I think it's great. That's all that's in there.
Now, the one line that they left in there was are you kidding me? I've got more in common with bots than I do with other people. They were like, oh, this is good. We got to get this guy in
Oh,
here.
Yes. What do you mean it only knows how to kill? Oh, God, what have you made? So anyway, yeah, it was pretty amazing, though. It's amazing how they did that. Did you hear how people actually fucked it up?
Grabbing the courier or the creeps in between the towers, right? That's what I heard.
Right. No one
Yeah.
ever thought about that before, so they pulled the creeps before OpenAI got to the mid, and then it was just like, didn't know what to do if it couldn't block.
You mean like they ran to the enemy side, aggroed their creep wave, and pulled it
Yeah.
a different way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
then-
it's very particular about blocking. So if you take the creeps and you move it, it's like, I still need to block, and then it chases them away. So it's pretty
And
funny.
he would just keep chasing the player with all of like the dire creeps, while the radiant creeps just killed the tower, and the bot didn't do anything.
Dick.
Yeah.
Pretty
Dang.
smart.
But anyway, as a wrap up, I thought everything worked out really well. There's a lot of behind the stuff scenes that you guys don't know about, a lot of fires being put out in TI, and they made it happen. I thought it was a great event. Really, it's impressive how many things didn't go wrong and how many people were dedicated to make it happen. So I thought it was a success. Good work, everyone that was involved in TI. Well done.
And big viewership turnout as well. I think that basic metric of success, preliminary reports were good. A lot of people tuned in this year, beat projections.
Those Chinese numbers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Did you know that 2 billion people watch TI from China? Wow.
The world may never know. All right, well, there we go. Another What the Duck in the books. We should do another one of these relatively soon.
I have a literal 30-second story, if you
Yes.
don't mind.
Dude,
Go ahead.
fucking yeah.
It's super, super quick. So, I don't know if you guys know what it's like to be a personality in Dota, but
No.
I don't.
sometimes we have some very awkward interactions with fans, and usually it's the fans' fault, right? But at times the personality, this great being that you all look up to, can sometimes put their foot in their own mouth. So the story goes like this: this guy comes up to me, and he's like, "Hey, I'm a really big fan. I messaged you on Facebook. Was wondering if you'd be interested in having a tour at Facebook." because that's where I work. I'm like, oh. And then literally within 2 seconds of me not even responding yet, I actually forget what he says. So I said, oh, that sounds great. Be sure to email me, though, because Facebook fucking blows. Then, and then I'm like, wait, who did you say you work for again? He's like, oh, Facebook. I'm like, okay, nice to meet you. So needless to say, that tour never happened. But...
He canceled the tour.
Oh, can I tell another story I forgot? I'm sorry, this one's quick too.
Hit it up.
The most banned piece of content at TI. I had an idea. I went to the Red Bull LAN, and I got 100 players together, and I told them we were all going to queue up as techies on US East and ruin games. And we did it. And then we edited the whole thing, and it was super toxic and super horrible. And then Valve's like, nah. This is inappropriate to go into games 100 people as techies. So, there you go. The techies 10x10 terror challenge never made it, guys. So sorry.
sad.
So
All
sad.
right. Everyone's gonna pass out if we don't at least touch on the fact there's 2 new heroes. So
Oh, right!
general
I forgot.
attitude, I would say excitement, looking forward to more heroes, like they mentioned in that player meeting, that they want to bring more heroes into the
Did
game.
you just Did you just Zoro the
That's
Paladin?
cool.
Did they
You can
release any
add-
of their skills and shit? Am I behind the times?
No.
No.
Okay,
No.
so we still
So,
don't know
like-
anything. So then, yeah, until I see what they actually do, I don't give a fuck.
All right. No, I'm going to say one thing. I'm not going to spoil. I actually know what one of the hero does. Maybe you guys do too. Really excited. That's what I'm
Oh,
Okay.
okay. I
Wow.
I can add. I got
Yeah.
spoiled ahead of time because when I was
Okay.
doing the hero strings thing, it was basically like a giant database of all the heroes that I had to write, and so that I wouldn't like miss any.
Oh.
And at the bottom of the list, it had the 2 new heroes, and I didn't know before then that there were heroes coming. So that was like a week before TI, so I knew what their in-game
Oh.
tags were, because it's like, Axe, Crystal Maiden, or like some of them are old. It'd be like Outworld Devourer or some shit. But they
Yeah.
were at the bottom. They forgot to cut them off.
Got him.
Yeah.
All right,
Shit.
one thing I will say. I won't spoil it.
Sure.
Sorry, I'm still sick somehow after
Don't
this
do
event.
this, Sunsfan. Careful.
There's one thing
Gotta
in
lose that
particular
artifact
that's
follow.
coming that that I specifically, and I vocalize about this, have been waiting for a long time. So, enjoy. It's gonna be
All right,
cool.
It's a
Here's the
Han
question.
hero.
Preemptive, I told you.
It's hippopotamus. Oh my!
Here's the question, though. It's not an armadillo. It's a what?
It's a
Pangolin.
Palaguin.
Pangolin.
Pangolin, I believe is the technical name.
Okay, let me look this up. Pangolin. I've never heard of this
pangolin.
animal in my life. What's the difference between that and an armadillo?
So
Well,
an
a
armadillo has like, it's like a solid shell, whereas a pangolin, it looks like it has like scales, kind of. I assume they're related. It's just they probably diverged at some point in the history of Earth.
Palaguins are
The history
very
of it.
endangered.
But
They
you
live in
guys-
Africa.
You guys also have to remember that sometimes when an artist is modeling something, they Google armadillo or something, and then a pangolin comes up, and they're like, "Yeah, this armor style looks cooler," and then they animate it like a pangolin. I'm just saying, you guys might
I'm
be
just
disappointed.
saying. I'm just saying.
I mean,
I may have seen the string name for the hero.
When
it
I
might
watched
not be
the video,
pangolin. That's all I'm gonna say. You guys got to get ready for
oh,
Yeah.
good. When I watched the video, I thought it was a fox with
Spoilers.
a shell. I didn't know what the fuck it was. It didn't look like an armadillo to me. Never even heard of pangolin.
I thought it was just a made-up creature. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't really go down the animal route, thinking that it had to be some
Why?
sort of.
Why does he look so French? I mean, that's the one thing I don't get.
Whoa,
Because
whoa,
that
whoa.
doesn't
He's
strike me as like a.
Argentinian.
There's
He's
no
not
French
Oh, is he?
character.
Oh, I just saw the mustache. I couldn't.
He's
really
he's
hear
a mix. He's Zorro as a musketeer. They basically took anybody with a rapier and they combined the two. He's like Luna. Luna's Scottish and Irish. I mean, they just like fucking made it diseased and terrible. But yeah, I don't know. Purge, I know exactly what you're talking about. When I went in to Volvo and I signed my papers saying I couldn't talk about anything and they let me play them. It said armadillo, and I'm like, that's not an armadillo. That's a pelican. And they're like, what is a pelican?
It's a pangolin, God. Isn't it pangolin?
Palanquin, yes.
Fucking named armadillo.
It was
Or is
armadillo. That
Or
was
is
the
it?
biggest drama. I was reading that whole thing and being like, Brett is gonna be so mad
they're
when
gonna
it's
be
called
fucking
armadillo.
pissed.
They're
They're
gonna be
gonna be
so
pissed.
fucking mad.
All those high horse people. It's a pelican.
I mean, let's be. It's
Uh-oh.
easier to say armadillo. I'm fine with it being incorrect.
Well,
honestly.
sex still has issues apparently. Saying pangolin.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
It's a pelican. All right. Anyway,
Wow.
yeah, those heroes are gonna be pretty dank. pretty dank. Yeah. They
I don't think
are-
anyone else here has seen them. It's just you.
Yeah, I
That's
haven't.
it.
I don't know anything.
No, I can't say anything. But
All I
will
know is
say-
I really enjoyed the Monkey King release. So hopefully they don't like, dude. I don't know.
Oh.
I feel like burned by the last new hero. Monkey King came out, was broken as shit, and then got nerfed into the ground. I hope it's just not a rinse and repeat.
With an
again.
Arcana, mind you.
We have
Very
Arcanus
important
to sell,
distinction. here.
Ziori. All right. If I came up to you and I was like, "Hey, you want to piss off a fan base and make $30 million for a week?" Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fair.
You know, one nice thing though is that there's two heroes at the same time. In past Dota releases where there'd be two heroes at the same time, one of the heroes would be broken, the other one would be like nobody would fucking play it basically. So at least it'll like slightly. You can always there's one of them is gonna be way worse probably. So you'll hate that
Oh,
one,
yeah.
and then it'll like make it less bad than like releasing one new hero at a time,
Right.
and that hero always has to be OP.
I actually am so excited about a dual release because now you're gonna go into a game. Some idiot's gonna pick Palaguin, and then the other person's gonna pick Sloth on your team. So now it's even. There'll always be one dumbass on both teams. And if you just so happen to play against the team that has both the new heroes, insta win, boys. So I'm pretty excited. But anyway,
Me too.
2 heroes is better than 1.
Yeah. Exciting
said.
times for Dota.
Yes, indeedy. Dota is not going anywhere. We got Artifact. We got 2 new heroes. Dota will be quite relevant for quite some time.
Well, and you missed the biggest piece of that, Slacks. We got a shitload of tournaments coming up next season.
Right. Tournament every
Slacks
2
doesn't
weeks.
watch Dota.
Ugh, gross.
Slacks is looking forward to
Luxury
flying all
video.
around the world and never coming back home for next season.
Picking
Fuck
some
that.
hands.
I'm taking a goddamn break. People want me, they gotta pay me double what they pay Toby Wan, and I don't even know what Toby Wan makes. Anyway.
All right, fam.
Not-
Well, that's another one in the books. So we'll probably have another What the Duck coming out sooner rather than later once we know what Dueling Fates looks like in more detail, what the heroes look like, and of course with roster shuffles. Not much info to go off of now, but hey, a couple weeks, we should have some new teams in the works and all sorts of theory crafting to talk about. So another What the Duck done. You can find this on
Midas mode lives.
YouTube.
Sorry.
Midas.
Oh, right.
Just want to
Ooh. Trent,
we
good
need to
call.
touch on that.
We've been working very hard on that sweet, sweet baby. Ha! Many plans are out. Midas mode is coming.
We have dates.
We will not give you. Should we have the dates? Should
We don't want to
say-
tell them the dates, but they will rest
All right.
well knowing that we have dates.
Right. So let me be real. Can I be real with these guys real quick? People
Hit
are
'em,
wondering what
Slacks.
happened to Midas mode after the Kiev Major. Well, we had big plans to do Midas mode before TI, but it turns out people actually want to scrim for instead of playing a goofy ass game mode. So we could have put on Midas mode. It could have happened before TI, but we probably would have gotten anybody that had nothing to do with TI. Anyone that failed out of the qualifiers, anybody that didn't play in it, because honestly, if you're playing for millions of dollars, your chance, you don't want to fucking ruin your idea of what Dota is. You want to have your plan, practice it, and be good. So rather than put on like a subpar product with some tier 3, tier 4 teams, we decided to hold off. Our second idea was let's do it right after TI, and while people are getting their new teams together, give them a fun avenue to play. However, with the new system coming out, there's just going to be a shitload of tournaments, especially in that area. If you guys saw the calendar, I mean, there's almost a huge tournament every 2 weeks. So we've selected a new time. It is going to happen before the end of the year. We will tell you more info soon. But our big reason for delaying it, as the CEO of Nintendo said, you can always delay a product and make it better. But if you release it too early, it will be terrible forever. So we want it to be a good product. And we are securing sponsorships and all that. So the more excited you guys are for it, the easier we make our jobs. Right now, we're trying to find enough sponsors to make Tier 1 teams go for it, because Tier 1 teams want money. They don't care about having fun. Sorry, everybody. So as soon as we get that sponsorship going, and as long as you guys keep saying excitement, we can point to those sponsors and say, look, people want this to happen. Give us a fuck ton of money. And if we can raise enough, we're going to put on one hell of an exciting tournament, especially because all these other dumbasses are playing Captain's Mode, and by the time this tournament comes out, you're going to be sick as fuck of Captain's Mode. So, yeah, it should be great, and we are actively working on it right now. So, thank you for your patience, guys.
Yeah.
There you go.
We're also going to be accepting donations via Bitcoin.
Yes, straight to my account, please. I'll link it here.
Do you have Bitcoins? Would you like to support Midas Mode with your recent earnings? Here's the wallet. Yes,
You guys might have seen that guy at TI with the sign about Bitcoins. That was me.
Oh shit, guys! It's down like $200. Buy. Let's go.
Oh, fuck.
I gotta go.
Imaginary money, buy it. Where's my Monopoly money to buy Bitcoins?
Oh my.
Anyway.
Well, thanks for the update, Slacks. Absolutely, guys. Looking forward to Midas mode, and yeah, we'll have some announcements coming up. A lot to look forward to in this season. So if you joined us late, this will be on the Moonduck YouTube. You can find it at moonducktv/podcast. For those of y'all audio-only folks, you'll find the RSS feed and ways to get those MP3 files. But until the next time, we'll see you guys later. Thank you for joining us for another What the Duck.